Hello. I'd like to get us started on our fourth and final session of poetry today. Thank you so much to everyone who's been listening and who's participated. It's been lovely. We're going to start a little bit of a change in our schedule, but we're going to start today with this last session with Kai, Jax, and Issa, who has served as a summit advisor at Agnes College since 2014. She's received her PhD from the Graduate Institute of Liberal Arts at Emory, and for many years was a managing editor of the Howard Thurman Papers at Morehouse College. Her work with the Thurman Papers inspired her 2008 award-winning children's book, Howard Thurman's Great Hope. She's at work now on a poetry chapbook centered on police violence, and she lives in Decatur, Georgia. Please join me in welcoming here in person, Kai.
Hello, everyone. It's really great to be here. I wanted to start off by thanking Dr. Khwaja for the opportunity to read this poem. I started in 2016, and it's a poem based on my son's experience with police violence when he was very young, when he was 14. And so I just wanted to thank Dr. Khwaja and this event for affording me the opportunity to revisit the poem and imagine it in new and different ways. And my main purpose was to, as a mom, imagine it from his perspective. He really didn't want to talk about it much. And so, you know, it gets different each year for me as a mom. And the name of the poem is The Good Kid's Bumpy Ride. It's a poem in 4 parts. Part 1, now, a walk. Good kid decides on a walk in his own neighborhood, a few hours to kill before he has to help Pops with the lawn. The day was his for a while, time to roam, do his thing, a few hours to his own. Good kid set out, his sharp angles of a man-child body on a big man walk. Soon lost in thought, good kid walks, trying out some big man bob and swagger. The day was his, a perfect day for breaking in sneakers on a friendly slice of pavement. Good kid closes his eyes, but some dreaming takes flight. Closes his eyes, imagines the afternoon sun, stage lights, and him front and center on a court, no better, a stage, the crowd going crazy over his lyrical flow. The good kid walks now to the beat of a new rhyme, churning in his head when the siren sounds. Eyes open, good kid turns, a cop car behind him. Good kid's breath catches. He commands himself, man up. He wasn't bothering anybody, just out walking. Good kid keeps on walking, rhymes replaced to focus now on the tightrope lesson Pops and them taught him. Hands out in plain sight, no sudden moves, call them sir, be polite, so hard with him. A police car following him, no reason. Time to head home, the good kid decides, picks up the pace, Pops and them would handle it. The car speeds up, a blared stop now, good kid freezes, be cool, he orders himself. A tinted window rolls down to a lone driver, flashing and cold as ice eyes, we're friends smile, so phony, makes the good kid's knees buckle. He manages to straighten as best he can, look into the man's dark shades, be cool, he commands himself. You didn't do anything. Part 2, past tension. Man steps out the car, good kid sees what he sees, let himself feel it, a bootleg, buzz cut, tan, swole biceps, straining a too tight shirt, just like the news, the movies, the stories Pops and the big boys on the block told him. More than that, it was something they forgot to mention, the hunger lurking there, barely containing glee of trapped prey. Good kid's neck prickles, instinct kicks in, this dude was a straight up monster. He breaks into a run. Monster catches him like it's nothing. Grab good kid by the neck hole of his t-shirt, snatches him, shakes him dizzy, flings good kid to the ground. Face down on the ground, dude pressed his knee into the good kid's back, a hairbreadth from crushing his windpipe. Face down on the ground, air supply cut, good kid pushes back, fights the dude's knees, if just for air, some air to keep from dying. Good kid wiggles and kicks, spits blood, from bitten tongue, ignores dude's command to be still, wriggling, fighting with the dude's knee, pushing to breath, pushing to breathe, finding a tiny window in between the dude's knee to turn his head to find a bit of air. He cries, "Mom, Daddy, help me." Part 3, the ride. Good kid feels himself being snatched up, jerked to his feet, arms yanked behind him, tucked, tossed, like nothing but balled up paper into the back seat of a car. Car speeds to life. Dude hitting speed bumps, swerving, stopping, short. Good kid tossed like he was nothing, flying, whirling with no anchor into windows and the partition. Dude rides that way for hours, it seems, assuring the good kid he would take him home as soon as he confessed to robbing something. If not, dude said, you go to juvie. The good kid tries for a time to man up, keep it together, just too much back there. Untethered, tossed like cargo, too much this hot house. Good kid begs, let me go, cries, please, I gotta pee. Dude just laughs, keeps up the crazy driving and lurching and keeping good kid reeling, even had the good kid thinking, maybe I did do the robbery, maybe I robbed something, maybe I forgot. No, hate was better. Stranger, sprouted, fed by piss and tears, grows stronger, fix him on forever enemy, anything cop related. Forges his skinny boy body legs into thin, strong irons that can anchor him in place in the backseat of an untethered car. Kid relaxes, let the strange thing fill him, this hate, let it surround him like a shining lyrical sword. The good kid rides, slice the rides to shreds, shreds the demon cop to dust with strange, new poetic flow. The ride stops in no time, no reason. The dude lets him out, uncuffs him. Good kid looks, brushes himself off, watches the cop car speed off, no words, thoughts of home, sore bones, raw scrapes and scratches. That strange hatred, a ride, he survives, good kid thinks. Enough for now, and yet everything. Thank you.
So next up, then we have Scout R, who's a second-year student here at Agnes Scott studying English. More of her short poems can be found on her WordPress, which is available through Agnes Scott's digital portfolio program. Please welcome Scout.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here in front of, I'm also really nervous in front of so many poets that I admire and so many of my friends. I brought 2 to read today. And this one is about the price that I think we sometimes pay for justice. Where the clergy lay in rows across the street, as heaven kept, the people wept, their sadness still was fleet. Little flowers in the rose, are there fireflies in Spain, new seeds which we have sown, and an end to Terror Lane. That's my first one. And this other one I was not planning on reading, but it makes me laugh and it's a nice day. So I thought, why not? Today I saw a frog. I saw him eat a dog. I saw him eat a horse. I saw him eat a log. Today I saw a river flowing in his mouth. Today I had a nightmare, and today I went without. Thank you all so much.
Next up, we have Deborah Monroy, who's a photographer and writer living and working around Atlanta, Georgia. One of her latest projects is a series of graphic novels to showcase an imaginary yet philosophically suave coyote. And she plans to read some of those coyote poems for us.
Thank you very much for including me in this event. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. We're just switching our video so we can see you too. Perfect.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much. I'll read 4 short coyote poems, beginning with the coyote poem. Coyotes are known to be tricksters, so I believe it's okay to tell this story. One morning, I walked out to my car. There was a coyote waiting on the passenger side, kind of yipping and rearing up on the window. I got the idea. It seemed like he needed a ride. I let him into the car, but had to insist that he sit in the back seat and wear sunglasses so he wouldn't be so obvious. We went back and forth about wearing the seatbelt. Eventually, the coyote agreed. He started to yip as we neared Highland and Morningside Drive, so I slowed the car and let him out. When I got to work, I found my backpack, which was also in the backseat of the car, had been unzipped. My gift certificate for the Highland Pet Shop had disappeared, and the coyote left with my sunglasses too. So the moral of the story is that, unlike you and me, coyotes do not have morals. Sometimes people find fault with poetry. They say it's not practical, but this poem is practical and it's all true. Second coyote poem, Coyote and the Cactus. So I dreamed I was a coyote, but I couldn't find my glasses. Hawk tossed them into the embrace of the cactus. I wanted to take a nap, but found my blanket was hugging the cactus. Dreamed of reheating pizza for dinner, yet the cactus had already eaten it. No, wait, it was wearing my pizza like a serape. Long so to take a walk, however, one shoelace was wrapped around the cactus. Holding on to the rose tucked behind my left ear, I ran to my car to drive out of the stream, but the cactus, no, there was a whole family of them, and they had repulsored the seats of my car. Moral of this story is that after grappling with the cactus 5 times, I must begin to think about doing things differently. Third and second to last poem. Underbelly Lament. Like so many of us, Zygmunt Coyote makes up stories, and then he believes them. He's the monster in his own labyrinth. Zygmunt's parents were old school, chilling on all fours, but then the Coyote clan changed. They fell in love with upright living, walking upright on 2 legs, and there was no turning back. Males became anxious. The long, soft fur of their undersides, exposed at length, led to underbelly anxiety, and then to fear, and then aggression. While it may have appeared simpler for the females to remain abreast of their full frontal investments, still, they also grappled with aggression. Sister betrayed sister, even as brother raged against brother in this new upright underbelly society. To distract themselves, they found a berry, roasted it, became addicted in short order. It made them more anxious, and then fabulously insightful, while unstable, all conditions entirely helpful towards realizing suicidal health. To distract themselves even more, they began creating rituals of ornamentation, of adornment, and then adoration. Coyotes continued slouching towards a society of churchitude, yet still they congratulate themselves about possessing free will, much like a heroin addict who feels superior because he's not an alcoholic. Wrestling with this restless metaphorical mess, meaning more or less a denatured theological incest, namely joining those twin gods of chaos and mayhem, remains Zygmunt Coyote's life work. Academics in turn study the meaning of his labors, redeeming the gist of his work from his rapturously labyrinthine style. That is to say, the core significance of Zygmunt's work is heroin lassoed by the lariat of the professoriate. And so his message remains, namely, anatomy is misery. And one last coyote poem. Coyote in light of the tree of reflection. Coyote wanders the cloud-based stronghold of thought in the attic of his soul. Fool's paradise is the only paradise he can afford. Meanwhile, mice dance on the cogs of the old town square clock. What a tune, chimes Raccoon as she hearkens to the clock. I'm smitten, says the kitten as she lurches from the porch. All the while, down on the ground, laughter badgers sadness, and sadness prowls like a panther, padding into song around the tree of reflection and everything. Beloved, what does Coyote do next? Lizards jump rope on the hands of the clock. Coyote finds himself at the tree of reflection and everything, and he sits down to think and not think. Thank you so much.